Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing dumper turnoffs. I provide audio and email coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing dumper turnoffs. So if you have been dumped and you want to try to get your ex back, you might be wondering to yourself, what type of things did I do in the past that turned my ex off? What did I do which caused friction within our relationship? And if I was able to get my ex back, what do I need to avoid to make sure that we don't break up again? Well, in today's podcast, I thought I would give you 3 tips, 3 pieces of advice, 3 statements of what is likely to have turned your ex the dumper off. But not only that, this will work in all situations. So if you was to meet somebody new, then these things would also likely turn those people off. These things are universal. So these things would likely have turned your dumper off. They would likely turn your ex off again if you got back together. And they would also likely turn off new people that you might connect with. So in essence, the 3 things I'm about to tell you are very important that you remember because they will ruin your chance of attracting anybody. Let's get straight into this. And number 1 is complacency. And complacency can be seen in many different ways. Firstly, it can be seen as you not making an effort regarding your personal appearance, regarding how you treat your partner, regarding the effort you put into the relationship. Somebody who is complacent is boring. Somebody who is complacent is not physically attractive. Somebody who is complacent is not in dating mode. All of these things that I speak of in other podcasts come together when we look at complacency, because it is the group term for not putting the effort in when you're dating somebody. So whether it's somebody new, whether it's your ex, whether you're thinking to yourself, what did I do wrong in the past? Or maybe you've got your ex back and you just don't want to lose them again. Everything comes together with complacency. You need to remain in dating mode. You need to be the type of person who is always pushing forward and creating attraction, romance, and a spark in your relationship. So that starts from the off. Make sure you are physically attractive. Make sure you keep maintaining the effort in how you present yourself physically, how you look your best, smell your best, behave your best. Okay, you need to be that person that other people want to spend time with, in particular, your partner. And being boring is one of the most frustrating things that somebody can see with somebody being complacent, because they don't want to date anymore. They just think, I've got this partner now. I don't need to put in the effort. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to suggest going on dates. I'm just going to sit in front of the TV 24/7 and not make the effort. So number 1 is so important for you all to remember. Complacency in all of its variants is likely to have turned your ex off, is likely to turn off your dumper off again in the future if you get back together, and is also likely to turn off any new person that you might meet in the future. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast, the second statement that I'm giving you today of what would likely have turned your dumper off, past, present, future, anybody in fact that might be involved in this would likely be turned off by number 2, and that is neediness. Neediness is such a turn-off. Neediness is a relationship killer trait, and neediness is one of the fastest ways you can become single if you are currently in a relationship. If you are needy, then you are showcasing very low value behavior. If you are needy, then you are not presenting yourself as somebody who is worthy of a relationship. You're basically saying to your partner, I don't deserve you, and I really need all of this reassurance constantly because I don't believe in myself, I don't believe in my own value, I don't believe I'm good enough for you, and I really need you to prove to me that you really do love me, because I don't believe that you love me. I can't imagine why you would love me, because I'm such a low value individual. So I'm really, really needy, and I need you to constantly reaffirm my value, because I don't believe in it myself. I just don't think I've got any, really. That is what you're doing if you're being needy. If you're constantly needing attention from your partner, you are going to be the type of person who is dumped very quickly indeed. So maybe this is what has happened with you in the past. Maybe that is why you're single. Maybe this is what you needed to hear to understand what you did to turn your previous partner off. What did you do to turn your dumper off? Quite possibly it was neediness. Okay? Jealousy is something which connects with this. I always say that there are 3 main relationship killer traits: neediness, possessiveness, and jealousy. They all go hand in hand with this. And if you are needy, you are somebody who is really on the fast track to living a single life. Because if you are single already and you want to try to meet somebody new, you think, I'm going to start dating again. Trust me, if you are needy, if you're the type of person who meets somebody new, maybe you've gone on a date, maybe you're speaking online dating, and you haven't received a message in an hour, and you're sending them a message saying, oh, did you get my last text? Or, are you busy? I'm just wondering why you haven't replied. Or, just being sarcastic with them, being somebody who is frustrating, being somebody who is really passive aggressive with this. However you present your neediness, and whatever way you present your neediness, it is never going to be a good thing, okay? It is never going to put yourself in a position where somebody finds you attractive. So that was the number 2 dumper turn off. That's neediness. So we're now going to move in the final point of today's podcast, the final statement, the final thing for you to get into your mind is a turn off, not only for your ex, the dumper, but for people in the future you might meet as well. You've got to remember that whatever your position is going forward, these 3 things are never going to be beneficial. So we've had number 1, complacency. We've had number 2, neediness. And number 3 is negativity. Negativity is so unattractive. People who are always moaning, people who are always nagging, people who are always trying to bring a negative slant on a situation are going to be people who find themselves single. They're going to be people who are dumped. They're going to be people who don't get their ex back. And they're going to be people who aren't able to find a new partner in the future. Negativity is just so unattractive. Why would anybody want to spend time with somebody who is always down on themselves, who is always picking out the worst things in a situation? When you walk into a party, you gravitate to the person who is happy, carefree, and fun. You do not gravitate yourself towards somebody who is negative, somebody who is moaning, somebody who is bitter, somebody who is angry. They are not people you want to spend time with, and you want to be the type of person that other people gravitate towards. You want to be the type of person that others want to spend time with. Whether you want to get your ex back, whether you want to meet somebody new, whether you're currently in a relationship and you just don't want to lose your current partner, negativity is something you need to avoid. Now look, we're all human. We're all going to have good days and bad days. We're going to have moments where we are frustrated. Of course we are. But what I'm talking about is standard negativity. When negativity is your general default mindset. That is what I'm referring to right now. And that is what you really need to avoid. In particular, if you have been dumped, then being bitter is something which is likely to come into your mindset, especially during those early days of breakup. But you need to kick that out of your lifestyle ASAP. Because you are never going to get your ex back if you're bitter. You're never going to get your ex back if you're passive aggressive. And you certainly won't attract anybody new either. So if you are feeling passive aggressive, if you are feeling bitter, angry, moaning, nagging, just negative in general, please remember that the first thing you need to do is to remove these things from your thoughts. You might as well not even try to be getting your ex back in any other way, shape or form if you have this negative mindset, because you will never achieve your goal. If you're trying to get your ex back and you come from a position of bitterness and you just have this passive aggressive tone every time you interact, you are not going to attract them. Maybe you have a child with your ex and therefore you see your ex every week, every 2 weeks, when your child lives with you, and then maybe they're living with your former partner. Maybe that is when you get to see your ex. Now imagine that situation where the one moment you get to spend with your ex every week, every 2 weeks. Imagine if that in that moment you are negative. You are somebody who is moaning, nagging, passive aggressive, somebody who is bitter, somebody who is sarcastic in an angry kind of way, not in a funny way, in an angry way. Then of course you should be understanding you are never going to get them back. Sometimes I hear from people and they're asking me, why can't I get my ex back? I'm trying to do all the right things. I'm trying to improve myself in my physical appearance. I'm trying to improve my position by learning new skills. All of these good things. And look, they are good things. But then they tell me that when they contact their ex because they're speaking to them about their child, for instance, or maybe they are seeing their ex in some other situation, maybe they work with their ex, or maybe even they have had the scenario where their ex has reached out to them, a very exciting situation when that takes place. But instead of moving the situation forward with positivity, they have actually moved forward with negativity. They have had this opportunity and they have blown it. So maybe they work with their ex, and instead of presenting themselves in a positive way, they're just looking at them in a negative sense. Maybe their ex sees them at work, says hello to them, and instead of saying hello back and smiling, they just ignore them and look at them in a negative kind of way as they walk off. That is not going to help you. Maybe you have a child with your ex, and when your child is going between you and your ex, when you meet up briefly, instead of smiling and just being positive, you're being somebody who's got that angry, that negative tone about you. That is not going to help you. Maybe you don't see your ex at all, and a few months later you've received a text from your ex, a very exciting moment, but instead of being positive, instead of growing that conversation, instead of moving forward in the ways I suggest, your first reaction is to text your ex a response by saying something such as, "Oh, I never thought you'd speak to me again." Or, "Okay, what's going on with your life? If you're messaging me, your life must be pretty bad right now." You know, replying in a very negative, bitter, angry way. That is not going to help you. Okay? And if you're one of those people who asks me such a question as for why you can't get your ex back when you're doing all of these good things, and look, it is good to gain new skills. It is good to be improving your physical appearance. That is good. But you can't marry that up with negativity. And that is why it's such a crucial thing for me to mention in today's podcast. You have to be moving forward on all fronts. And if negativity is still part of your mindset, this is something that needs to be removed. Maybe you can work through this yourself. Maybe you will need support from a local counsellor. But whatever you need to do, you need to remove this from your mindset, because you will not find a new partner, you will not get your ex back, and you will not maintain a current relationship if this is a default part of you. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I hope you've understood that the dumper turn-offs I've told you today are not just turn-offs for your dumper, they're turn-offs for new people you might meet, and they're turn-offs for your current partner if you are in a relationship. Always remember, move forward with positivity, do the right things, and you will improve your life. Whatever you put into the world, you are likely to get back out. So put positivity in, and you will be more likely to receive positivity back. With or without your ex, you will have a positive future if you do the right things. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. Date.me.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, Date.me.tips, check it out now.